Hello my friends, welcome to Together Run 60. Currently looking at two bunnies that are paused in my front yard. That's going to be my nature check-in today. Not going to touch the bunnies obviously, but I'm just aware that they are there. Are you able to touch some element of nature? If you are, go ahead and do so now. If you are not, then just be aware that you are grounded. Even if there is something man-made on top of the earth, you are still standing on the earth. Right, you ready for us to go? In 3, 2, and 1, off we go. Now, as you can probably guess from the noises, I'm not recording this in the usual time I record it. It is actually 4:45 in the morning right now. I haven't run this early in a while, but Steve now is leaving for work every day at 5:50. So this is depends on the day whether I can get it in, but today this is the only option I have, so here we are. My voice probably sounds a bit hushed right now. I think I'll get used to speaking in more of a normal tone. So I know people's walls aren't that thin to be able to hear me running past and talking. But still, it does feel a bit strange, doesn't it, first thing in the morning to be talking at a normal level when it's so quiet. You can see the stars, the moon is shining bright. So it's definitely a different experience to yesterday when I ran at 10:30 and the sun was beating down on my head. I even feel a little bit chilly right now. Can I believe I'm saying? Okay. For those of you, this is your first Together Run. Welcome. I'm excited that you are here and you're in for something special. This is a really unique experience that we as a community have, and it's something that's quite relaxing and grounding and calming. Well, at least I hope you think so. And beyond that, I actually interviewed a guest. This episode is coming in a few weeks. And he talked about the synergy of patterns, of flow, of rhythm that is similar to his work as an architect and a musician. It was fascinating how running tied in with all of those. Now that's coming, but it's got me thinking a bit differently about running, and I'm sure it will for you too. If this is your 60th Together Run, 60, that's a lot, isn't it? So thank you for joining me. Or if this is anywhere beyond your first Together Run, thank you for joining me. I know there's plenty of places you could be spending your time, so I love that we get to go for a run together and enjoy each other's company. So, in these Together Runs, we always start off with some elements that help us to ground, to connect to our bodies, to connect to our surroundings. Even though our surroundings are different, we're still connecting to it. And then we go into a conversational piece and check in with how things are. So on that note, we're going to begin with a body scan, which means I'm going to speak out various parts of our bodies, and you're going to just check in with that part, see how things are, make sure as best you can that you're relaxed, calm and comfortable, and you're just going to see how you're doing. This is just a good way to just reconnect with yourself when it's not so easy to do so typically. Okay, you ready? Off we go. Starting from the top of your head, right on the top, feeling that head, top of your head pointing to the sky. Make sure you're nice and tall, standing up straight. I was told once to imagine you're being pulled up like a puppet. There's a string coming up the top of your head, working your way down into your eyes, making sure they're not scrunched and tight. They're nice and relaxed and loose. And going down into your nose and your jaw, around the back of your head, coming into the back of your neck, and to the front of your neck, going into your shoulders, your upper arms, going down a little into your elbow, and round into the forearm, into the wrist and hand, and into your fingers, making sure everything there is nice and relaxed. There's no tension being held there that you are holding on to. Your hands should be nice and relaxed. Coming back into the torso, through your chest, into your stomach, round to your lower back, going into the hips and pelvis, just all around there. How am I feeling? Then we're going down into the quads, and around the back to your hamstrings, into the back of the knee, coming around the front to the front of the knee, going into the shin, and then the back to the calf, and to the inner ankle, going outwards to the outer ankle, and then down into the heel, into the arch, into the top of your arch, and finally into those toes. How's your body feeling? Thank you for checking in with your body. I think let's go on to the mind today. So I want to ask you, if I were to say to you, how are you, really? I would want you to just take the next few minutes to think about it. Not to think about the answer that you would give everyone else, but what answer would you really give if we were running together, or if you couldn't, even if we did run together and you didn't want to say, what can at least you think about? What can you admit to yourself, even if you were never to admit it to someone else? Before we begin, I want to tell you just a quick little funny thing. Yesterday, I called up my friend Jeff, who lives here in Missouri, to see if he wanted to run on this weekend. And he said to me, "Hi Tina, how are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm having one of those pissed off at the world days." And he was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Yeah, you didn't expect me to say that, did you?" And he was like, "No, but I'm kind of having one of those days too." And it was nice, you know, not only people are always, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised to hear honesty, but it is in some ways. And it gave him the freedom to be able to say that he was having a tough day too. So, all right. So, how are you? Really? If your mind has wandered off, just gently bring it back. What would you say? Few more seconds. Okay. Thank you so much for checking in with yourself mentally. I intentionally do not ask myself that question until this point, as I want you to have the real answer. So, how am I? Well, not pissed off. I don't feel pissed off at the world today. It's a good sign, right? An improvement. How am I feeling? I'll just give you the honest truth. I was trying to avoid it, but I feel relieved. While you were saying that, I did pause the timer and go to the bathroom in a porta potty. And I feel relieved and grateful there was one nearby. It's also put me behind schedule, so this is I'm just gonna make this a 55-minute run max, just so that I don't know exactly what the time is, but I don't want to cut it close, so yeah. What else? I am feeling slightly overwhelmed a bit right now. I was sending voice memos back and forth between my friend Ryan Montgomery, who you may remember came on the podcast with his partner Wyn Wiley, aka Patty Gonya, and Ryan. I was saying yesterday just that I was having a bit of a hard day, and he was saying how the idea of entrepreneurship stresses him out because it seems like you're trying to fulfill obligations, do the things you committed and said you would do with some brands while seeking out other brands and trying to figure out how well it's going, whether you need to seek out more, and also trying to find other ways to support yourself and your team. And he said, I suspect it probably feels like you're always behind. And I think that's exactly it. I mean, I feel that way anyway from just my limited hours. It's hard for me not to compare to other people who don't have young kids or who have full-time childcare and are able to dedicate 40, hours a week, and I can maybe get 20. That said, I am very grateful that I can be with the girls more. I'm very aware of the fact that, if I want to take, because of the less childcare, today we have no childcare. Steve will be home sometime this afternoon, so this morning I'll probably take the girls somewhere fun. And if on a random Wednesday afternoon we want to go to the swimming pool for the afternoon, we can. So, I definitely recognise the flexibility that comes with my situation. But yeah, sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed trying to figure out how best to spend my time, not to become a millionaire, but to just survive as a business. And so, yeah, sometimes I get a bit fed up. And that's how I was feeling yesterday. And most of that has gone. But I do still feel a little bit of lingering, overwhelm. So there you go. There's my real answer at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so let's go on to our senses check-in. Now, this is going to be, we're going to check in with our 5 primary senses. We're going to end with sight, as that is our overused sense by far. So we're going to keep the other ones being the focus for a little while, and then we'll go to that. So I want you to begin by taking 2 nice deep breaths, as deep as you can take them while running. So let's go ahead and do that. I might do one more. What do you smell? I smell like pines, some kind of piney tree smell. What do you taste? I taste a bar that I shoveled down before I ran out the door. Just so I wasn't running fasted. I didn't feel like that for me is a good idea with my flirtation with Red S or amenorrhea. I feel like I kind of stay close to the line of not taking care of myself. And so I try to make sure I eat or have athletic greens before I go. So I've got something in there, but as I literally didn't even have time for athletic greens this morning because I just got up, went to the bathroom and went out the door. So, yeah, I taste a chocolatey taste in my mouth. And yes, that means I haven't brushed my teeth yet. My toothbrush is on the table, ready for me to grab it when I get home. What do you hear? If it is safe to do so, I want you to remove your headphones for the next about 45 seconds and just listen to your surroundings. Try and pay attention to any noises that you may not normally, and I will do the same. If you don't feel comfortable taking out your headphones, just listen to my surroundings and see if you can pick out some noises here. Okay, ready? Off you go. A few more seconds. Morning. Okay. What was it you had in your surroundings? Was there anything that you typically don't pay attention to that became clear for you? There's a lot of sprinkler noises. Apparently that's when everyone has theirs go off. Needs to be on a mission to get people to turn their sprinklers off for saving our precious resource of fresh water. I wish someone actually, does anyone know, can anyone tell me why is it so hard to, is the word desalinate, to like take salt water and make it fresh water? I know it's like incredibly expensive and it's not easy to do, but why is that? And someone could explain that to me. You know, I really do believe there's going to be, I know there are water shortages in some parts of the world, but I really do think there's going to be some major ones all over in the next 10, 15 years. But, you know, the obvious question is why can't we just take salt water and turn it into fresh water? So, if anyone out there knows the answer to that, I'd love to hear from you. On that note, actually no, let's finish our senses check-in first. Okay, so next we're going to go to our sense of feel, tactile. So I want you to just be in your body, see where your awareness goes, and just see what you feel while you're running, where your attention is brought to. Off you go. Final few seconds. Okay, what was it you felt? Where did your awareness go within your body as you checked in with it? For me, it was on my, as usual, for me, the sweat running down my face was the first thing my attention got, and a little bit of cooler air on my arms just feels different. I also feel a little bit of a upset stomach. Don't think I'm gonna have to stop again, but it's definitely not quite right. And I feel my feet just sliding around a little bit more than they usually would this morning in my shoes. Okay, and finally, we're going to go on to our sense of sight, our vision. I want you to, as safe as it is to do so, look all around where you are and tell me or think about, what do you see? One thing I want to add is just, as always, make sure during your time you try and pick one thing to get some detail on, something you wouldn't typically notice or pay attention to. Just hone in on the little details of that thing and see what you see. All right, off you go. I'll give you a few more seconds. Okay, what did you see? What was the detailed thing you paid attention to? For me, I was my eyes were drawn as it's dark to the road and how many uneven parts, redone parts, parts that have squares of obviously dug up and put back down, just like divots and things that typically when I'm running I don't pay attention to because, your eyes are always working. But in the dark, well, I've got a headlamp on, you have to just kind of notice these things more because you're trying to look where to put your foot. Okay, thank you for taking the time and the energy to check in with yourself. I really think this is a critical piece of why these runs are special, because we don't typically take the time to do that. So this is maybe the once a week or somewhere around there that you do check in with your body in a extended way. So thank you for doing that. We've only got 2.5 minutes left for the 30-minute group before you come to a walk. At 30 minutes, we'll do 2 strides. We'll give you a minute to recover, and we'll do 10 to 15 seconds at about 80% of your max. And then you'll take a walk in between. The rest of us will keep jogging. And then we'll do another 10 to 15 seconds. And then 30-minute group, you can be on your way. As always, these strides are not meant to be sprinting, trying to take big steps, just actually taking more steps and just trying to wake up your legs a little bit. These are great for sneaking some speed in, for shaking the rust off. So they're just good. Right, so as we only have 1.5 minutes left, it's not really time to get into the next section, but I invite you to stay as long as you like. 30-minute group. But I want to take this moment to remind you, take a picture when you finish your run, or right now if you can. I actually don't want to stop because of just losing more time of my run that is short today. But I would love for you to take a picture, show me what you see. I get all kinds of places from you all over the world. And it doesn't matter if it's scenic or not. I just love seeing you and your surroundings, or even just your surroundings when you share it on social. Just send it to me it really makes me feel like we're running together, and I can envision you when I'm doing these as if we are together. So feel free to share or pass it on with your running group. Let them know about these together runs. And also the weekly stride episodes we've been doing, those usually around 8-minute episodes where we are just I'm answering one of your listener questions, very Tina style, and you'll hear that definitely in last week's episode about preventing injuries. Very, very Tina. You're not going to get the expert come to a walk 30-minute group. You're not going to get the expert sterile answer. You're going to get my real answer. As with everything, sometimes they're running, sometimes they're fun or silly, sometimes they're life reflective. But yeah, if you haven't checked them out yet, give them a listen. And if you have, can you let me know? Because if we're way off with this and you have no interest in these kind of mini episodes, let me know. Because we don't want to be doing something that for you has absolutely no interest. Yeah. Okay. So in about 15 seconds, we're going to go ahead and do a stride. Just 10 to 15 seconds. And then you can come to a walk or a jog if you're in one of the other groups. You ready? 3, 2, and 1. Off we go. And come to a jog or a walk. Give ourselves 30 to 45 seconds, and then we'll go again. Okay, we're ready? 3, 2, and 1. Off you go. And come to a jog or a walk. 30-minute group, thank you so much for joining. You're welcome to stay for the updates and beyond. Or you can just take a picture right now so I can see you. I love seeing the various times that people spend out there. And if you're a 30-minute person, let me know. I hope there's some of you out there. I don't typically hear from you, but I would love to. Thank you. All right. We'll get on to our updates in just a second. But what was I asking about a little while ago? Actually can't remember. I do want to say though, when I was just saying about sharing, when you do share these, that helps me immensely, because when I get new listeners, or when you subscribe to this podcast so that it comes down as an automatic download, even if you don't listen to every episode, which I get it, like I know that you probably don't listen to Together Runs, Weekly Strides, and the regular episodes every week. Like, I get it. Like, if Brene Brown was putting out over 2 hours of stuff every week, I don't think I'd even be able to listen to that as much as I want to. So I get it. But if you're subscribed, that really helps me with sponsors. That helps me to draw in new opportunities. When you share this podcast and get other people signed up, those like overwhelmed situations I was mentioning earlier, that helps me with that, because more listeners, unfortunately, the world we live in still does mean more income, more brands will give you. And as you can imagine, with a recession looming, there's a lot of penny pinching going on right now, and being very careful, keeping money close to the chest. So you helping me share this, get it out, really is the best thing you can do. Okay. Right, so for updates, if this is your first time doing a together run, I want you to share with me a little bit about you. If we were running next to one another, what would you tell me about yourself, your life, your running journey? I'm a podcaster, remember? So that's the usual, that's in my mind. What would you tell me if we were together right now? And as you know, if you have done one of these before, I would love for you to tell me what updates you have. Whether our last run together was last week or a year ago. It's weird to say that now. I'd love to hear what updates do you have about your life since we last ran together. So go ahead and think about that. What would you tell me? And we'll check in a few minutes. It's a sign that says custom home coming soon. It's like tons of trees in that house. You know what that means. That means I better change my running route for a while because that's going to hurt my heart. Sorry, continue with your updates. A few more seconds. Okay, thank you for sharing with me. Sorry for the interruption. Just really hurts every time I see something like that. Just know they're going to knock down a house and level the land, take down the trees. As I talked about last week, trees feel pain, and it's just hard to think about. Okay. What would my updates be? I haven't thought about this until now. I do like to leave my answers very authentic and as they come up. So what updates do I have? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is last Monday, last week when you would have listened, I would have left the mental training. I would have been talking about that. Now I have to admit, and I said in the email, the newsletter this week, that was a total flop. We had some amazing people sign up, and I'm excited to hear how they go with it, but it really didn't. I realise now that I threw that at you out of left field. The messaging was just not with the vibe of everything else I do. I think I spoke about it very authentically on these, but the emails were just not quite right, and all of this mental training stuff to you probably seemed a bit out there. Like, what? Why are you talking about mental training when you've been trying to get us to back off our intensity in our goals and just enjoy our running, even if we have goals and races we want to do, not taking everything so seriously. So now I see that was a mistake on my part. And so I'm sorry for that, and thank you for sticking with me with that. And so that comes to mind as an update. That was a failure. Although for me, I believe failures, quote unquote, aren't like you failed, and I believe you learn from them, both in the initial, which I'm learning right now, but also over the long term. So I did learn some things, and I'm okay with it. I know it's helping me along my journey. I suspect that's part of the reason for my overwhelm, because I kind of realized how out of touch that was with me and my messaging and everything else I'm doing. Even though I do know the importance of mental training, I do believe in that course fiercely. I know it's a good course. I know it gets results. I know that it works. I believe that. And if you are someone who has that course, I know you will get value out of it. And most of you already have, except for those of you who just signed up. But, yeah, it's not, I guess I myself have been pushing the message of not taking myself so seriously and, you know, trying to relax into things. And this course is designed for people who have a really serious goal they want to hit and want to get ready for it, which is fine. And someday I may be back there, but right now I'm not there. Beyond that, I mentioned to you about Charlotte. That's not going to happen. We just couldn't put it together quick enough. But I will have potentially other things coming. Definitely going to be in Chicago. On that note, one update I do have is that Chicago has asked me to be a sustainability activation coordinator for the race. So in the preparation days before and after the race, I will be helping the marathon out with sustainability initiatives. So make sure you come see me, and make sure you go see the volunteers helping with sustainability if you are racing. And if you are going to be there, I will be hosting 2 meetups. One confirmed for sure, and one is in the works. And that is, the one confirmed for sure is a Tracksmith shakeout. So come join me for that if you can. Tracksmith shakeout will be from the pop-up store they have. You can register on their website. I don't know if the registration link is up just yet, but if it isn't, it will be up in the next week. And I'll have links all over the place to it when it is. And then the second one is going to be a potential Allbirds group run on the Friday. A very light-hearted, potentially like a scavenger hunt, something a bit fun. So if you want to join us for that, that'd be great too. And then, so yeah, that'll be the Tracksmith shakeout on the Saturday. I think it's going to be at 8:30, the day before the race. And then a potential Allbirds event on Friday evening as just like a fun scavenger hunt like thing, just to get to know the city a bit more and just have a bit of fun. If you're racing, it'll be nice and light-hearted. If you're not, it'll be the perfect thing for you to feel a part of something, because it doesn't have to be about racing. Beyond that, so Chicago, I will be at New York again. I'll give more information on that. But yeah, the sustainability activation coordinator is a huge opportunity. I'm very excited about it. I think for me, this is indicating that this is the direction I want to go in. And yeah, so I'm interested to see what this entails, what it looks like. 45-minute crew come to a walk, what it looks like, and yeah, I'll keep you posted as I find out more about what that involves. Okay, so you've come to a walk. We'll do 2 more strides in about 30 seconds, or 1 stride and take a break in about 30 seconds, and then we will continue on. The sun's starting to come up now. This is that point for me, you know, it's early in the morning, where it starts to feel really good that you got out early. As much as at 4:30 this morning, I was like, oh, I just want to sleep. As the sun comes up, as you're finishing your run, it's a good feeling. Okay, right, you ready? 3, 2, and 1. And come to a jog or a walk. If you're in the 55 or typically 60-minute group, you can definitely keep jogging between. Give you another 15 seconds, we'll do another one. Okay, we ready? 3, 2, and 1. Running. And then come to a jog or a walk. I think that lady was the one that's not yelled at me a few times, but she's kind of, she doesn't like me getting close to her. Like, I can't be on the sidewalk at the same time. She gets angry. She'd be like, oh. But today I was on the road and she was on the sidewalk, so she didn't mind. Okay, 45-minute group. You are done. Thank you so much for joining. I really would love if you'd take a picture of yourself so I can see where we're running. Share this around. And yeah, so Wednesday there'll be a weekly stride episode. On Friday, a regular episode. And that regular episode is a very interesting one because it's the identical twin of a former guest. Can you guess whose identical twin we have on the show? Probably not. But yeah, it's really cool anyway. So be sure to check that out next Friday. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next week. I'll see you this week. Okay, now I'm going to call you 55-minute crew today. Let me look at what I've actually got left. 5:42, so I have 8 minutes I can play with. Let's say 7 minutes, because I'm going to cut it too close to 7 minutes. That put me at 56. So we'll just cut it at 55. Call it the 55-minute crew. And we are going to do 2 more strides. So we will do those at 53 minutes. So you haven't got long, but that's okay. If you were to do strides at the end of your regular runs or throughout your regular runs, typically people do them like all together at the end. So you do your regular run and then finish up with like 4 to 8 strides, so that you would just stand around at each end. So do the run, do the stride, wait 15 to 30 seconds, whatever feels right. Do another one, wait, do another one. You'd kind of do it standing around. That's typically how strides are done. I just kind of changed it up a little bit just to suit this a bit better, so that everyone gets an experience of doing strides. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a body scan. I'm gonna have you do it at your own pace, your own time, checking in with the parts that feel right for you. Let's go ahead and do that now. In a few seconds. Okay, thank you for checking in with your body. How's it feel now versus at the beginning? I feel pretty decent actually. A little ache in my arch of one side, but that's it. Okay, it's got about a minute before we do our strides. Oh, I also didn't mention, it's not my update, but it was incredibly exciting to see the quote-unquote Inflation Reduction Act, which really was a climate bill, go through. That was so exciting because while it was definitely sacrificial in terms of some populations that, you know, some drilling is still allowed to go through, there's a lot in there to incentivize people to move to renewables, to move to clean energy, which I'm very excited about. And so that's the incentive ends of things. And now Biden can go through and put the rules and regulations on the companies that are not being sustainable. So that makes it easier for people like you and I to actually do our part too. But even, okay, let's go for a stride. 3, 2, and 1. And come to a jog. Even if you don't live in the US or you have no interest in this, I get it. But it affects everyone because where the US does this and has the largest agreement to accept climate change and address climate change, the rest of the world will also, follow along and make changes too. Actually, a lot of the rest of the world already is, but this is a huge sign. So that was a very exciting update to see that it finally went through, and it's going to help people like you and I to be able to make changes in our lives that we can afford. Because we're not billionaires. Or at least I don't think any of you are billionaires. I'm not a billionaire. Not even a millionaire. All right, you ready? 3, 2, and 1. Okay. come to a jog. Got about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to be done. If you want to go ahead and do up your last 5 minutes, you can. I want to thank you for joining me today. I'd love to see pictures of you when you finish. Take a picture and share it with me. Share it with your community. Share it on social media. That really helps me. I appreciate you. And I'm coming to a walk. When you do finish, oh, that's a 5.99. Better just jog for a second. That's going to annoy me. There we go. Let's make sure you connect in with some element of nature when you finish up, just to ground yourself back again. I'm going to touch this tree. Thank you for growing. Well done, street kid. Thank you for joining me, friends. I will see you on Wednesday for a stride, Friday for a regular episode, and next Monday for another one of these. See you then.